Something that gets me really, really angry is when a man is having his virtues used against him. He's a good guy. He wants to do the right thing. He holds himself to an upstanding moral code. And because of that, it makes him a victim to a woman who wants to exploit that. This has come up again and again in my consultations where a man is suspicious that the partner that he has is cheating on him. She's having an affair or something. And so he does what anybody would do in that situation. He goes searching for evidence. Sometimes this means snooping into her private business, having a look at her texts, having a look at her emails. Inevitably, he finds something, either direct affair, like she's actually cheating, or at least something to be extremely concerned about, the way that she's interacting with these men, and she hasn't told him about any of that, and so he confronts her. An argument breaks out, and he's saying, I can't believe that you're cheating on me. I can't believe you're flirting with these other guys. And she responds with, I can't believe that you went through my things. I can't believe you violated my privacy like that. And then there's this argument back and forth as to who's committed a worse act. That's all completely ridiculous. In that situation, the man is guiltless. All of the blame is with her, and I'm going to explain why. Human beings all have rights that need to be respected, not just by the state, but also in our interpersonal relationships. The right to privacy, the right to be free from bodily harm, the right to expect honesty, etc., etc. But these rights aren't absolute. When in conflict with each other, then the most important right is going to win out. This is why you see, for example, in Christianity, they say that it's not always immoral to steal a loaf of bread if you're doing so to feed your family, because the right to survival and for the survival of your family trumps the right for someone to not have their loaf of bread stolen. I often refer to a similar example where if you're being tortured and the torturer is saying, now you're an honest person, right? You would never lie because I have a right to expect honesty from you. So tell me where your friends and family are so I can go and kill them, so I can go and torture them. Yes, that person has a right to expect honesty, but they violated your right to not be tortured. And so their rights are completely forfeit. In that instance, for you to be honest with that person and feel like you have a moral obligation to do that, it's completely ridiculous. You don't owe that person anything. They violated your rights. And so any right that you had to them is completely null and void. So you see, this exact same principle applies inside personal relationships. All the rights that we listed before, the right to privacy, the right to expect honesty, the right to exclusivity, all of that, they exist inside a hierarchy, and you only need to respect those rights for your partner so long as they are respecting your rights. So morally, how do we make sense of a situation where you are suspicious of your partner cheating on you, and so you decide to break her right to privacy and you go through her texts? You go through her emails or something like that. Well, here's the thing. If you find nothing, like she's completely clean, it was all in your head, all completely baseless paranoia, then you have just done something absolutely horrible. You have broken her right to privacy, and you need to come clean about that. You need to atone for that action because you are very much in the wrong. However, if you find something, if you find evidence that she's been cheating on you, you don't need to feel bad about that. You've done absolutely nothing wrong. She's the person who broke your rights first. You're just simply responding to the shots that she already fired. Of course, when you confront her with the evidence, she's going to try and flip the situation around and say, how dare you go through my things? You're the really terrible person. That's just distraction. That's just gaslighting. She's trying to shift and divert the blame away from herself onto you, or make it seem like maybe the two of you are equally culpable. Do not buy into it. That's complete nonsense. She is in the wrong and you are right to go looking. Even the concept of rights inside a relationship doesn't perfectly encapsulate it, because when we hear the term right, we tend to think of it in relation to the government and these rights that are absolute, like the right to life. It's better termed, I suppose, as privileges. In a relationship, you have privileges. But the thing about a privilege is it comes intimately linked with responsibilities. You're not entitled to expect anything that's unearned inside a relationship. So yes, you have the privilege of receiving, as a man, my compassion, my trust, my respect, your privacy, my exclusivity, my commitment to exclusivity. All of that you absolutely get, but that is a privilege that you enjoy as a reward by also granting all of those privileges back to me. So you're honest with me, then I'm honest with you. You're exclusive with me, I'm exclusive with you. These are privileges that you both enjoy, but what's important is the fact that they are linked to those responsibilities. And at the moment that those responsibilities are reneged upon, the privilege ends. This situation really, really breaks my heart to think about. I did a series of consultations with a guy a really nice, decent, hardworking guy who had caught his wife cheating on him. Not once, numerous times over a number of years. And he was devastated, understandably. But being such an upfront, decent guy, he would tell her how he was feeling. He would tell her what his plans are moving forward with the relationship, even conversations about divorce. So when he came to me asking for advice, I instantly told him, stop that. You need to keep all of that information to yourself. I know that it's going to feel unnatural because you're a kind, decent guy and you feel like you want to provide her the courtesy of, keeping her updated of where you're at and what you're thinking. But you do not owe her that morally. She has already taken those steps to ruin your relationship, to put your family life and your children at risk. You do not owe her anything. Yes, start planning for divorce. That's absolutely fine, but you don't need to tell her that. Take your time. You can be strategic about it. Get your affairs in order. And this is coming from me, and I am a big fan of personal ethics and morality. I think without that, society crumbles. I think it's important for your self-esteem that you have a code of ethics that you uphold yourself to, but do not make the mistake of thinking that your code of morality is a pure shield, pure armor, that it makes you stronger. In some situations, it is the very weakness that you need to be careful of, because exploitative people, manipulative people, low quality people will see the fact that you are ethical and that you're a good person, and they will use that against you. A woman who has just been caught cheating on her partner will sense that he was uncomfortable by the fact that he had to go snooping and breaking her right to privacy in order to find the evidence, and she will hone in on that. Anything to turn the problem around and make him look like the guilty party. Please, 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 please do not fall for it. She is gaslighting you. I've done enough consultations with good men who've been taken advantage of by horrible women to see how this plays out. If you grant her the same rights and privileges that she's already enjoyed in the relationship, even though she's not granting you that same dignity, you will be the one to suffer. She won't be grateful for your sacrifice. It's just weakness for her to exploit. This is not a gendered issue. This goes for both men and women. But if you break your partner's right to privacy, you go snooping around their stuff and you don't find anything, then you suck. You've just done something horrible and you need to atone for it. But if you find something, then she lost her right to expect privacy when she cheated on you, and you're completely in the right. Morally, you are clear to go looking for that evidence. Please do not feel guilty. How do you spot good qualities in a male friend, and where do you find them? That is the topic of my latest video. In this video, I explain why it's important to have a variety of friends with all different purposes, and the 3 types of friends that you should have: the master, the apprentice, and the fellow traveler. I also talk about the qualities to look for in a friend and where to find friends, how to leverage one social connection to many. Lastly, I explain how to approach men when you're seeking friendship. If you'd like to have more male friends in your life, then this is the video for you. Right now, for every video that I post on YouTube, I post an additional bonus video on my Patreon page. That means that at the moment, you're only seeing half of the total content that I create. If you'd like access to the other half, then please go and sign up at my Patreon. It's just a $5 a month subscription, and you get instant access to a whole bunch of exclusive content. It's a fantastic way to support the channel, and I would love to see you over there.